December 15th, 1836, a fire destroyed nearly 10,000 American inventions in a single night. The Patent Office had no copies, no backups, no second set of records anywhere in the country. And 190 years later, the United States government is still looking for what was lost. If you have ever wondered why some of America's earliest and most important inventions seem to have no clear origin story, no named inventor, no clean paper trail, this is why. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what was destroyed, why almost 3 out of every 4 of those inventions were never recovered, and why the search for them is an active government program happening right now in 2026, not a historical footnote. This is not a story about a fire that happened once and ended. It is a story about a hole in the record of human invention that has never been filled, and that the people responsible for filling it are still trying to this day. In 1790, the United States created its first patent system. For the next 46 years, every patent granted in the country, every drawing, every written specification, every model submitted by an inventor, was stored in one location, registered not by number, but simply by the inventor's name and the date of issue. By 1836, that single collection held the documentation for 9,957 inventions, 46 years of American ingenuity, steam engines, textile machinery, agricultural tools, the foundational mechanical knowledge of an entire industrializing nation. All of it was housed in a building called Blodgett's Hotel in Washington, D.C., which had never actually functioned as a hotel. It had become the headquarters of the Patent Office and the General Post Office. On the night of December 15th, 1836, employees had been storing firewood in the basement, near where they also disposed of hot ashes from the building's stoves. The ashes ignited the firewood. The local fire brigade responded. Their equipment was old. Their hose would not funnel water onto the blaze. They attempted a bucket brigade, men passing buckets of water hand to hand through the freezing December night. It was not enough. By morning, the entire collection was gone. 9,957 patents, 7,000 patent models, the physical working miniatures that inventors were required to submit alongside their paperwork, 168 folio volumes of records, 26 large portfolios containing approximately 9,000 drawings, 46 years of documented American invention, destroyed in a single night by ashes that should have been disposed of somewhere else. Now, I want to be careful here, because this part of the story is genuinely just an accident. There is no institutional conspiracy in the fire itself. An investigation at the time considered the possibility of arson. There was suspected corruption in the post office, which shared the building, but arson was ruled out. The cause was accidental, carelessness, not malice. But what happened next is the part of this story that almost nobody knows, and it is the part that turns an accident into an ongoing, still unresolved loss. Congress moved quickly. Within months, lawmakers and the Commissioner of Patents put out a public call. If you are an inventor or the descendant of an inventor and you hold a personal copy of a patent granted before the fire, please send it in. The government would use these individually held copies to reconstruct the official record. The response was good. It was simply not enough. 2,845 patents were reconstructed this way. They were given a new designation, the letter X, attached to a number to distinguish them from everything filed after the fire. Eli Whitney's 1794 patent for the cotton gin became patent 72X, reconstructed, recovered, saved. But that left more than 7,000 patents with no surviving copy anywhere. No inventor's family came forward, no personal record existed. The invention itself, what it was, who made it, what problem it solved, was simply gone. Stop and sit with that number for a moment. 7,000. Not 7, not 70. 7,000 individual acts of American invention erased so completely that we do not know what most of them were. Here is what I have not been able to stop thinking about since I started reading into this. This is not a closed case. This is not a 19th century tragedy that ended in the 19th century. The United States Patent and Trademark Office runs an active recovery program for these lost X patents right now, in 2026. Volunteers, archivists, historians, patent examiners, and members of the public continue searching state archives, private family papers, and institutional collections for any surviving trace of the missing 7,000. In 2004, a small batch of long-lost X patents was recovered from the archives at Dartmouth College, found by researchers who weren't even looking for patents specifically. They had simply been sitting there, unidentified, for over a century and a half. That means somewhere, right now, in an attic, a historical society, a family's old papers, or a university archive nobody has properly catalogued, there could be more. The USPTO's own historian, Adam Bisnow, has written publicly about this search. The agency has digitized everything it has recovered and made it freely searchable. This is not a secret program, it is a public one, and it is still unfinished, 190 years after the fire that started it. Think about what that actually means. Somewhere in America right now, there could be a piece of paper that would finally answer who invented something we still use, or rely on, or build on top of. And we don't know it exists because nobody who has it knows what they're holding. The fire itself was an accident, but the silence that followed, 190 years of an unsolved gap in the record of human ingenuity, is not anyone's fault, and it is also not finished. It is the longest open case in American institutional history, and it is happening in plain sight. The X patent records are at the National Archives, Record Group 241 in College Park, Maryland. The USPTO's recovery program and digitized collection are publicly searchable through their patent public search platform. Everything I have told you tonight is on the public record, confirmed by the USPTO's own historical office. If this story affected you the way it affected me, you are going to want to see what happened next, because the fire was not the only time America's invention record was deliberately erased. Stay with me, because the next part of this story is in some ways worse. Subscribe if you want to keep following these records with me. And tell me in the comments, if you found an old, unidentified mechanical drawing or model in your family's belongings, would you even know what you were looking at? Because somewhere out there, somebody already has and doesn't know it.